North Korea has issued a chilling threat to Australia in response to its support for the tough sanctions America has imposed on the rogue nation. In a statement, the North Korean military regime condemned a visit by Julie Bishop to South Korea last week.
Australia stands with the Republic of Korea in solidarity against the provocative and illegal behaviour of North Korea. We reiterated our support for the collective strategy of maximum diplomatic and economic pressure on North Korea so that it will be compelled to return to the negotiating table.
North Korea has described our support of the US as a suicidal act in yet another dramatic warning to the Australian government. For more, we're joined by political reporter Olivia Leeming in Canberra this morning. Now, Olivia, tension between the Australian government and North Korea is certainly intensifying at the moment. Take us through what sparked all of this.
Good morning, Sally. It's this visit from two senior government ministers to South Korea that has infuriated the North. Foreign Minister Julie Bishop and Defence Minister Marise Payne travelled to Seoul earlier this week, and while they were there, they emphasised just how important it is to reach a peaceful resolution in the region. They stressed the need for more diplomatic pressure to stop North Korea's nuclear program and urged the country not to carry out any more weapons tests. But that has prompted North Korea to lash out at Australia for what it sees as aligning with South Korea and the US. We have taken part in joint military exercises, which it's not happy about. The state-run news agency said should Australia continue to follow the US in imposing military, economic and diplomatic pressure upon us, despite our repeated warnings, they will not be able to avoid a disaster. So it is a direct threat. It is not the first time Australia has been singled out by North Korea like this, and it's unlikely to be the last.
As nuclear tensions continue to rise, North Korea has issued its second chilling threat directly against Australia. The rogue nation has criticised us for aligning with South Korea and the United States overnight.
Now, the Korean Central News Agency said in a statement yesterday, should Australia continue to follow the US in imposing military, economic and diplomatic pressure upon the Democratic People's Republic of Korea despite our repeated warnings, they will not be able to avoid disaster. For more on this, we are joined by our foreign editor, Dr. Keith Suter.
Good morning.
Keith, a credible threat?
It is a credible threat, but not immediate.
Right.
Remember, we're about 4 or 5 years away from North Korea acquiring long-range nuclear missiles.
Are we still sure about that? Because some of the the American intelligence people claim that they've expedited proceedings.
Well, that is our worry, because you don't know for sure. In the same way, the North Korean leader doesn't know if any of them are going to work when they're actually necessary. It's a very risky process through which we're living. This is Australia's biggest foreign policy crisis, really.
So, look, it's unrealistic that we would distance ourselves from our greatest ally, the US. So what can the Australian government do from here? I mean, this has really come about because Julie Bishop, our foreign minister, has been there, right?
Yeah,
has been in the demilitarised zone.
And reaffirming Australia's position. And there's really very little we can do. We're not going to suddenly be involved in attacking North Korea or anything like that. But she has made it quite clear to the North Koreans that Australia stands with the United States and South Korea. And also trying to provide a message of reassurance to South Korea and Japan as well. The fear I've got is that in 5 years' time, South Korea will acquire nuclear weapons and the Japanese will do so.
Well, already, if we're talking about an arms race in the Pacific, the Australian government's already talking about a whole new fleet of ships armed with sub, anti-missile, capabilities and things. So it's on already, isn't it?
It is, in a sense, absolutely. And of course, you've also got in Japan pressure to get rid of their pacifist constitution and acquire more military hardware. And a lot of us remember the last time the Japanese had got a lot of military hardware as well. So yes, you see, this is a knock-on effect. We're not just talking about one rogue regime, so to speak, but something which will ricochet through the political system.
If we're talking about our allies, the US, and the situation that we are now in under President Trump, you've told us before that both leaders have got themselves, North Korea and America, have got themselves backed into a corner. How do you see that they can get themselves out of the corner?
Well, the only suggestion really is to have a mediator go in, like a European country, and try to be the honest broker. We've seen that before in other peace deals. So you have an honest broker going in, try to mediate it. But the problem is the North Korean leader has made it quite clear what his long-term strategy is, which is to acquire nuclear weapons. That's the game changer. And it's very difficult to see how any sort of mediation is going to end up with North Korea saying, we will now surrender our nuclear weapons. He's whipped up this hysteria in North Korea. He can't very easily back down from it.
I mean, it seems to be his chief mode of foreign policy, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
He can't back away from that.
No.
And America has said, we won't recognise you if you are a nuclear power.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Keith.
North Korea has warned of disaster should Australia continue backing the United States.
Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull says Australia will come to the aid of the United States if they're attacked by North Korea. 7 News US Bureau Chief Mike Amor joins us now from Los Angeles. And Mike, Donald Trump says the time for talking is over, and Malcolm Turnbull says Australia has got his back.
Yeah, that's right, Eddie. The tough talking heats up not only from the US President but also our Prime Minister. Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull warned the risk of war gets greater all the time and said this morning on Sunrise that if America is attacked, Australia would go to war. Let's listen.
Clearly, if the United States were attacked, then under the ANZUS Treaty, we would come to the aid of the United States.
So we would go to war
if the
with the
United
US.
States were attacked, that's right. We would come to the United States aid, just as if we were attacked under that treaty, the United States would come to our aid.